Hey guys, David Desai, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about some recent footage that came out of Jungkook and V kind of in a bad condition, and some armies were a little bit upset that BigHit wasn't really helping, but just kind of sitting there recording it. I have some opinions on this and some stuff that I want to get into. I also want to talk about a former colleague of BTS who had some things that they wanted to say about BigHit, V, and Jimin. So let's get into the tea on that. If you're interested in that sort of thing, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you're notified anytime a new video drops. If you're a hater, like to be the first to leave your hate comment, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be the first to do so. Now, let's jump into it. So let me get you a little bit caught up if you didn't already know, and then we can jump into the tea. BigHit does a lot, and I mean a lot, of reality and docuseries type of work where you get to really know them as individual people and get to see what they're like. It's even so much in their kind of webtoons Save Me series. If you want to get caught up on that, just write in Google the Save Me series and you'll see it, and I won't spoil anything on here. Now, that series isn't exactly reality, but it is a series where you get to kind of see their personality. So it is reality in that way, where you get to know them personally and get to know kind of how they act. I really like that. I think that was one of the moments where I kind of discovered like, oh, I actually really like these guys. They also have these two series called BTS Bon Voyage and BTS Run. These are usually posted on Weverse or VLive, and they're kind of like a long episode type series where they're an hour, 30 minutes, that sort of thing. Bon Voyage is a series where BTS goes and travels the world, and they kind of document their travels from kind of their perspective. The cameras are usually held by them. It's like vlogging style sometimes. Sometimes they have a camera crew. Sometimes it's like a car camera where you get to see how they are in a car, and it just feels very intimate. You get to see them in hotel rooms, eat different foods, see different places, and just experience the jokes that they make. And in my personal opinion, you'll never really get to know someone until you have traveled with them and lived with them. It really bonds people very much closer together, and you get to know them very intimately. You learn their habits, their annoyances, pet peeves, that sort of thing. All the members of BTS obviously know each other very well, and they know what their pet peeves are and what they like and dislike. And in Bon Voyage, we get to witness that too. We as armies get to experience them as if we were traveling with them. In BTS Run, we get to see kind of their competitive side. And that is a whole different way of learning about someone and who they are. If you get to see and know someone's competitive side, you really get to know what type of person that they are, because that is like their most vulnerable, real, and raw state of them. Because it's hard to kind of keep up with appearances and act when you're kind of like in the heat of the moment and trying to be competitive. So this is why I can kind of see why armies really care and vouch for BTS, because that's your friend. Like, you feel like you really know them and everything that they do. There's also nowhere to hide for them. Like, there's cameras rolling all the time. If they were a bad person, we as armies would have heard about it already. So same goes when they're shooting their kind of documentary series and DVD series where they show the behind the scenes of every performance. So fast forward on April 14th, which was just a few days ago, BTS released their DVD for the Speak Yourself tour in Japan. This is their behind the scenes DVD, of course, so you get to see like a real raw version of them. Like the most raw. We're talking about moments that you would assume BTS probably doesn't want the world to see, but we do get to see them. BTS records these like vulnerable and kind of scary moments sometimes and puts it in the DVD. So of course, people on Twitter had some things that they wanted to talk about. They were upset that footage of Jungkook and V passing out and blacking out was included in the DVD. And of course, fear that V and Jungkook don't actually want the footage in there. Like, obviously as a person, maybe you don't want that type of condition of yourself to be broadcasted to the world. And they were upset that BigHit's camera crew was just kind of sitting there filming it instead of actually helping out and cutting the cameras. And of course, it seemed like people were also upset that BigHit was making money off of this. In the footage, you saw my beloved babies. It is very heartbreaking and a little bit triggering. So just letting you know before I flash up some of these photos, you get to see almost V and Jungkook almost fainting, blacking out, and kind of people helping them breathe more properly. You saw the staff give oxygen to Jungkook as he's lying on the floor. And with concerts, there's always a medic behind the scenes, so there's no real reason to worry. There's always someone there to help out in case something like this happens. I hope it doesn't happen that often. Jungkook was of course seen behind the scenes fainting and in pain, and of course any army seeing this would genuinely be upset. It's kind of triggering to see a loved one in this type of situation, but also seeing someone you admire very much in pain. And of course, there's nothing you can do as a viewer. You're just kind of watching it and you're kind of freaking out. Armies, of course, were saying that this is not the first time that something like this has happened, and this is not the first time that BigHit has allegedly tried to profit off of it. Referencing moments, of course, when BTS had like a mental breakdown when they started crying after a fight or something happened. Now here comes my opinion. BTS is not unaware of the footage that is out there. They're aware that this footage exists. They're aware that when they blacked out that there are camera people recording it. If they're not okay with the footage for some reason existing, they would have marched right up to BigHit's office, right up there, and they would have said, "Ooh, we do not want that video in there, or whatever, but they didn't go ahead and do that. BTS seemingly wants a very unfiltered look for us ARMYs to kind of watch them through. And this is what made ARMYs like love them so much. The fact that they seem real, the fact that it seems like we're hanging out with a friend. And they really seem to care about each other as much as they care about ARMY, so it doesn't feel like it's a one-sided type of relationship. I am so glad personally that DVD existed and that we get to see not just the good parts of them, but also kind of the ugly parts as well. And by seeing some of the ugly parts, you really get to see how hard they individually work and how much they push themselves. It's inspiring to see a bunch of boys come from very little to grow into this very big thing, and that they work so hard to the point of exhaustion. It's really inspiring for someone who maybe wants to tap into the industry, but also inspiring to people who want to give it their all on anything that they want in life and any dreams that they have in life. It shows how much they care about the art and how much they care about their jobs. I think a lot of people, especially in K-pop, have this kind of misconception that art needs to be pretty and cinematic and very colorful and whatnot. But the art that I like to see is like realness, like raw, like not just the beautiful parts of your life, but the really ugly parts too, because that's real. Like I want to see a singer sing off key and be pitchy sometimes because that's just real. That just happens. I want to see our K-pop idols curse and get mad. Not all the time, of course. Like I don't want to see them get mad all the time and be mad and be a bad person, but everyone gets mad. It's a very normal thing in life, and I like to see those moments because it makes me feel like I know them a lot better. And it also helps me relate to them a lot more because as I would get mad at the same things they would get mad at probably. And I want to see the emotions and actions that make them human. So let's be real, if I slept as little as Jungkook does and exercises and dances as hard as he does, I would probably pass out too. Like, oh my god, it's so relatable, right? And of course, I'm not the only one who believes this. Obviously, BTS is okay with this footage. BigHit is okay with this footage because of that reason. We also have people on Twitter expressing the same opinions as well, so let's get into that. This Twitter user wrote, "They're pictures of both members from the Japan DVD where they've collapsed, tired and are pinned. Please remember that the boys wanted to show us everything without filtering themselves. Show their hard times and good times. BTS don't want to filter their relationship with a meme plus." I'm glad that other people agree too, and I'm glad that BTS decides to show this part of them. I hope that they continue to show that and don't feel discouraged to show the real side. I also don't hope that bad things happen just so they have something to show. But like if it does, I want to see it. It's kind of like if something happens to your friend, like you don't wish for something bad to happen to your friend, but when it does, I'd be sure as heck pissed if no one told me. As for BigHit profiting off of the footage, I don't believe that's true either. They need to somehow pay for the camera crew that's creating this art. And the money, of course, comes from you guys who buy it. Also, they need to like pay for like streaming capabilities and things like that. So yeah, it should cost money, I think. So far, I haven't had a problem with anything BigHit has done. So that is good. I am happy with that. BTS has been making great waves within the entertainment industry and really building a great reputation for themselves. As a former BTS colleague, so this is someone, of course, who has worked with BTS directly, specifically Jimin and V, which is who we're going to be talking about. This was, of course, at the time when they were all trainees trying to make their dreams come true. There's one singer by the name of Lee Hyun, who is one of the singers of the group 88. Now, I don't know too much about this group, so if I do say something wrong, that is why. I haven't looked into them too much. He is currently enlisted, I believe, in BigHit as a solo artist. And then the other members of 88 continue to stay in the group and do their 88 things. So obviously he's going around doing his rounds with interviews, things like that, to kind of get his name out there. Because obviously people would just know him as a member of 88 and not as a solo artist. He appeared on a radio interview, and obviously BigHit and BTS are going to be brought up. The interview asked about the relationship with BigHit and BTS. Because of course, when someone breathes next to BTS, they're going to be asked about it. He says he doesn't get to meet them very much, or he hasn't really met them very much, but their music is great. They put a lot of energy and effort into their music to create good music. I can imagine BTS kind of sitting in the corner over there now blushing. Oh my god, you stop. That's BTS right now. Now, something you might be unaware of is that BTS used to dance for 88, so it wasn't that they just worked together in the same label. They used to actually like perform on stage together. It was kind of their introduction to the K-pop world, and I believe 88 helped train them. Jimin and V used to ask for advice as singers to better help with like their high notes, and they used to ask them like, how can we perfect this and do that? And Lee Hyun was of course happy to help them. I'm glad BTS got some great veterans to kind of coach them through. One Twitter user commented on what Lee Hyun had said, and this is what they said. They worked so hard to get where they are now, and that BTS obviously deserves the praise. I think Lee Hyun would be so proud right now. It's probably like a student-teacher type of moment where the student becomes more successful than the teacher, and the teacher is just there like, oh, my baby. Let me know what you think about this, and let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it down in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, I do have a Patreon if you would like to check that out and kind of contribute back to this channel. It really does help. Anything you can kind of contribute. It really helps me keep the videos going and make them better. So thank you so much for checking that out and contributing over there. You can also get exclusive content over there, such as music video reactions, performance reactions, and ship reactions if you're into that. You can also make recommendations on things you would like to see. I'll leave a link in the top of the description down below so you can go ahead and check that out. There's also 2 videos that will pop up at the end of the screen for this video. So please make sure you go ahead and click on one of those, and I'll see you over there. Bye.